This week's episode of One Piece flips the kick-ass switch all the way up because we got a ton of fights this week. It seems like everybody was fighting. Law, Fujitora, Doflamingo, Luffy, Don Chinjao, Cyan Buu, the Funk Brothers, this weird freaky cactus guy who's collecting weapons, this brand new guy who has a freaking explosion punch by the name of Ideo. That's right, Ideo, Ideo, Ideo! As a fan of action anime, I was completely satisfied by this week's episode. They literally injected pure badassery right into my veins. And what I also loved about it is they still managed to inject a little bit of that weird One Piece humor at the very beginning of the episode. There was a scene where Zoro was hanging out with Wicca, still running all over the city, not knowing where the hell he's going. That's pretty much the one running gag with Zoro. But I do like the scene where he gets so mad that he just tosses Wicca away and then starts to run away again, and then eventually comes back right to the same spot and joins up with Wicca yet again. But we then cut to the scene with Law, Fujitora, and Doflamingo, and this is awesome. We get to see Fujitora using his ability to summon meteorites again, and it's just as cool as it was the last time, especially how he's able to pull his sword out and do all those crazy slashes, put it right back into the sheath, and it creates those purple rings, which summons the meteorite. And then this is when this big chase scene happens, where Law is running through the forest as he's being chased by Doflamingo and Fujitora, and Doflamingo's using these, like, weird little air bullets and, like, shooting them all over the place, and it's really awesome, and Law's able to cut up all the swords. Eventually, they come to a standstill where they're all there in the middle of the forest again. It's only a matter of time before everything around them is destroyed. But that's when we finally go back to Kurita Coliseum, where things just go crazy. There are so many characters fighting this week, and they introduced this brand new guy by the name of Ideo, who has these weird, like, shoulder things he's wearing, which actually make him kind of look like he's trying to cosplay as an Evangelion unit, but that's just the way I see it. But what I really like about this guy is he's sort of like the next version of Don Krieg. If you remember, he was one of the earlier villains of One Piece. He had the big spear that would explode on contact. This guy has these gloves that will do the same thing, and both him and Luffy are fighting for the majority of the episode, and it's really awesome how Luffy is able to use his haki, and they both punch each other, and they're just constantly exploding away from each other. It's really, really awesome. But there's also a lot of other characters who get a lot of standout scenes. Cyan Buu are kicking ass with their weird, like, ripple, like, destroying abilities. No matter what type of weapons people use against them, they're, like, basically their aura just, like, destroys it so easily. And apparently their weapons are, like, infused with, like, hockey, so that just makes them even more powerful. And then there's Don Chinjao, who's just destroying everybody. This guy's a freaking monster, and he also has Conqueror's hockey, which is a pretty big deal. He knocks all these guys out, no problem whatsoever. But one of the interesting things this week is the Funk Brothers, Kelly and Bobby. I just love these guys, mostly because their name is absolutely hilarious, but they're building them up a little bit more in this episode, and I'm not sure what to make of their abilities quite yet. But they go up against Cyan Buu this week, and Kelly Funk is the boxer, and he's the real small guy. He actually has something of a Napoleon complex, and he's joined by his brother Bobby, who apparently is not even really a good fighter, but nothing can hurt this dude. Like, Buu takes his big-ass axe, slams it right into his back, and it doesn't do anything to this guy. Maybe it has something to do with hockey, maybe it's something entirely different. But what's really interesting is Kelly Funk gets defeated pretty easily, and he tells his brother to put it on. And then we see a scene where Kelly Funk is now freaking huge, but he's wearing his brother's hat. Maybe this is the magic hat doing it. I'm not really sure. This could be something completely new I've never seen before, but I really don't know what to make of what's going on. All I know is he went all freaking Hulk and started beating the crap out of everybody. There's also Jean Ango, who is this Mexican-themed fighter who is collecting all of the weapons on the battlefield. And at first when I saw him, I'm like, is he going to be like a 10-10 style character? He's going to be like a weapons expert? Apparently that's not the case. He considers himself a sniper, and he actually collects weapons to throw them. And he's pretty proficient in pretty much any weapon that he throws. So again, that's just another interesting, unique fighter. And this week's episode just sort of ended with all of the fighters just sort of staring each other down, getting ready to set up the next big battle, giving us our to-be-continued screen and ending this week's episode. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? Well, it was awesome. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the means. I mean, even though there was a lot of really cool action going on, there was time when it could have been animated a little bit better, but for the most part, this was one of the more high-end looking episodes of One Piece, and for a lot of really small reasons. Like, in the opening of the episode, when everybody's watching all the battles, you can actually see they took the time to actually make the audience move a little bit more. It really bothers me a lot of the times when we're watching tournament arcs, and a lot of the times there's a lot of just still characters just not moving and never even blinking even once. And a lot of that does have to do with the fact that this is a weekly anime series. There's, you know, they gotta have budget constraints for all that type of thing. But this week they actually at least made them move a little bit more, and that made everything seem all the more lively. The humor worked this week, especially from Zoro, but also from the announcer who's doing all the battle commentary. He gets so passionate about it, and it's just really funny how his two assistants are always trying to calm him down. It's actually a really funny element of this tournament arc, and it's actually kind of going in line with a lot of other previous tournament arcs that I saw from like Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho, where the commentators are always just as memorable as even the fighters themselves. The action this week, though, was awesome. Everything was just popping off. Everybody had a lot of really cool moves. Ideo seems like he's going to be pretty cool, but I see him being defeated. Same thing for Jean Ongo. I think he's just going to be taken out pretty easily. I think the biggest threats here are going to be the Funk Brothers and Don Chinjao, but only because they make them seem so mysterious, especially the Funk Brothers. And the fact that Chinjao can use Conqueror's Haki just speaks volumes for his power. Obviously, he's the old guy. He's like the martial arts master. He's definitely going to have some skills to pay the bills. So, great episode right here. I loved it. It was a little slow in some parts at the beginning, and some of the stuff with Wicket and Zoro could have been cut down a little bit. But I loved this episode a lot, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was great. I think that One Piece fans are going to enjoy this because we're going to get a lot of really cool and creative action, and that's something that One Piece does very well. So check out this week's episode. It was pretty cool. If you guys saw this week's episode of One Piece, please tell me what you thought about it with your comments below. What was your favorite fight scene from this week's episode? Did you like this episode? Did you hate it? And what's going to happen with the battle between Law, Fujitora, and Doflamingo? Remember guys, before you leave, hit that like button, give this video a thumbs up, helps out a lot, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews, and even the occasional movie review. In fact, I just got done reviewing the brand new Godzilla movie. Do yourself a favor and check it out. It's a pretty slick-ass monster flick. And you can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to those in the description box below. So, I'll see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.